Good morning, guys, and welcome to your show, the Bitcoin Report. Here I am, and here's the show. Now, let's get started. First thing I want to talk about, I'm going to look at a story here that you're going to wonder how this applies to cryptocurrency, and I'm going to explain to you how it applies to cryptocurrency, and then we're going to take a look at the markets. Let me see, where's my charts? Okay, let's get the charts started right here. And let's take a look at this. Cooler housing market is dragging down British Columbia's economic growth report says. Province insists that BC remains. See, this is the way it's going right now. Everybody is saying, hey, everything's okay. Everything's okay. It's really not that bad. Meanwhile, everything is starting to drop. Housing's starting to drop. The whole world economy is starting to slow. But all of these talking heads are all saying the same thing. Hey, everything's okay. Everything's okay. And everything is okay for the moment. But Canada's cooling down, heading toward a recession. Their real estate market is undergoing a steep sell-off. I can't say it any other way, but housing prices are going to start to fall really fast in Canada. So Canada's going to go into a recession. England, the United Kingdom, in this next 3-month extension that they've just given themselves, we got 3 months until a recession, basically, in England. Because their economy's cooling probably faster than any's. If they go under, Germany's going to go under into a recession too. So we're looking at a spreading recession, okay? So how does that spreading recession affect Bitcoin? Well, let me explain. When the recession hits, this next recession, the world's central banks, they've already given you a hint. Powell got up in front of everyone, and as soon as there's the least little problem in the stock market, what did he do? Oh, patient. We're going to be patient. We're going to hold on the rate hikes. This shows you how they can turn dovish almost overnight. And this is what's going to happen. When this next recession hits, the world's central banks are going to turn dovish. You might ask yourself, how are they going to turn dovish? They're going to turn dovish by starting to print money. I call it the Great Print, and it's coming. It's about 4 to 6 months away. When that happens, this is when we're going to see a mad rush into cryptocurrencies, because it's finally going to dawn on the entire world that this paper money has a huge fault in it, that the central banks can overprint it. And this is when cryptocurrencies is really going to shine. This is what's going to force mass adoption of cryptocurrency. Let's take a look at the cryptocurrency market this morning. And what do we see? We see Bitcoin slowly increasing in price. But I don't really expect any huge price increases as the world's heading toward recession. Because this is deflationary. And in deflationary times, people hang on to their money. They hang on to their money with a tight fist. Their money being the fiat paper currencies. They hang on to them with a tight fist. And what this means is it means they reduce spending. They cut back on everything, including buying Bitcoin, including buying everything. They cut back. But when the world's central banks finally come to the point where they have to become dovish, and they have to go into the Great Print, then this whole thing is going to make a 180-degree turn in the opposite direction. So, yes, we could actually see Bitcoin heat up a little bit before then. We've seen the bond market heat up, and we're seeing gold and silver heat up a little bit. But don't forget, we're heading into recession. And so this is going to have a cooling effect on this heating up. But once the central banks do this 180-degree turn the other way, it's going to be full steam ahead for the cryptocurrencies. The sky's the limit to how high they can go. Quite seriously. When you've got the whole world entering into a period of the Great Print, and the whole world starts to lose confidence in the fiat monetary system, which is basically a Ponzi scheme, then the jig's up. And when all these paper fiat currencies are starting to go into hyperinflation, all these price predictions on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies are out the window. You can't make a price prediction. If the dollar and all of the other fiat currencies on Earth are on their way to zero, you can't make a price prediction priced in dollars. But I know that that's what we use now as our marker of what something is worth, dollars. So they do try to make price predictions on cryptocurrency. Well, I'm going to kind of make a price prediction on what I think Bitcoin could go to priced in today's dollars. So basically, I'm using the dollar as a reference point of how much purchasing power your Bitcoin will have in the future. Well, first off, we have to realize that Bitcoin is the premier cryptocurrency, and it's probably always going to retain that title. I'm serious. But I do see in the future Bitcoin's position from what it is right now at a 50% market cap of all the cryptocurrencies. I do see that slowly being reduced as time goes by, probably dropping into the 40s and the 30s and down into the 20s, ultimately. Where these altcoins take 75% of the load. But Bitcoin's probably never going to go below 20% of market capital. So it's always going to... let me explain. First off, I believe that when Bitcoin hits a market cap of 20% of what now it has 50% dominance, that Bitcoin's market capital, based in dollars at that point, is probably going to be many, 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 many times what the whole market cap in coins is now. Because priced in dollars, ultimately, in the end, you're not going to be able to price Bitcoin in dollars, but you're going to have to price it in purchasing power. So I told you guys I'm going to make an estimate of what I think Bitcoin will buy in purchasing power, and the ultimate conclusion and the end of this end game, being as there's only 21 million Bitcoins in existence ever, and a lot of them have been lost, and basing it on the world's population, and this is going to have to go around as a store of value for the entire world. Basically, all of the gold will be priced in Bitcoin. Gold will be a tremendously amount higher than it is now. Based on dollars, I think you could see $10,000 gold, what the dollar buys right now. So you're looking at basically an ounce of gold buy you a brand new car. That's 1 ounce of gold in the future. That's probably where you'll see gold. And you're going to see silver probably move to about 25% of the price of gold ultimately. So 4 ounces of silver will buy you a brand new car. That's what we got coming in the future. But at the same time, cryptocurrency is where you're going to say my house is worth so much cryptocurrency, not my house is worth so many dollars, but my house is worth like 0.003 Bitcoins, And so 1 Bitcoin, the purchasing power of 1 Bitcoin in the future is going to be more than you can spend in an entire lifetime. 1 Bitcoin. In fact, you could probably have 5 families and support 5 families for a lifetime on 1 Bitcoin in the future. This is the purchasing power is going to be of 1 Bitcoin, ultimately in the end of this game. And most of the people out there, your friends and neighbors, when they finally buy in other words, they take all of their dollars they have now in their bank account and they use it to purchase Bitcoin with, that's what's going to send Bitcoin to these sky astronomical highs, and it's going to send the dollar down to valueless, absolutely valueless, worth nothing. Bitcoin will be worth everything, ultimately, when this transfer takes place. But in the final stages of this transfer, when your friends and neighbors finally decide to buy their Bitcoin, they're going to have to take all their money out of the bank, and they're only going to be able to purchase a tiny, tiny, tiny little fraction. And that's when everybody's going to be purchasing it. That's when the final transition is going to take place. And it's going to be the death of fiat currency. See, in this world, we've went through several phases or periods, and the fiat currencies are reaching the end of their usefulness to mankind. Cryptocurrencies are going to be the wave of the future. People, honest to goodness, cash is going to be gone. People are going to use their cell phones. Everybody now's got a cell phone, and they're going to have their crypto wallets on their cell phones. So they're not going to need to carry money in their wallet anymore, or credit cards. They're just going to use their cell phone. Later, what that is going to become, ultimately, I hate to say it, but it's going to end up being a chip, an implanted chip. So you're not going to have to carry even a cell phone with you anymore. They're probably going to scan your wrist, ultimately, in the end, and your microchip is probably going to be what's going to be where your coins are stored in. It's going to be basically your bank account's going to be with you all the time. You just have to run your wrist across anything that you want to purchase. You just go across it with your wrist, it makes a little beep sound, and it's all over. You've purchased it, But until we get to that point, you're probably going to use your cell phone. You're going to run your cell phone. You go into the grocery store, right? You want to buy something. Say you want to buy a tomato, a little sticker on the side of the tomato, just like they have it now, But you'll just run it across your cell phone, and the cell phone will come up with your Bitcoin wallet, and it'll not Bitcoin, but probably one of these other altcoins that'll be transferred instantaneously into what it's worth in Bitcoin. So say you're using one of these ones like Cardano or something like that, or Monero to purchase it with. You'll purchase it, and that Monero is worth so much Bitcoin. So it's instantly, the computer is able to instantly transfer the value between the two coins. This is all what we got coming in the future, and you'll be able to purchase it, and it'll say yes or no, do you want to purchase this tomato, and you push the yes button, and now you've purchased it. You put it in your cart, and you walk out of the store, and you don't go through a register with a lady standing there scanning your goods anymore. You do it all. This means the stores are going to have less employees, because you don't need to go through, you don't need to stand in line anymore. You just walk out the store with your stuff. You've scanned it all yourself. This is the future we got coming, and if you don't have a cell phone, you're not going to be able to purchase anything, and you're going to starve. So everyone's, even the bums sitting on the corner, are going to have cell phones. This is where we're headed, and there's no stopping it at this point. Listen, thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next show. Bye-bye, guys.